Hey guys, I'm gonna do another video on Earth Angels and not feeling content or not wanting to work a regular career path. And what's interesting too is even like when I was on like major projects like huge Kaiser hospitals and Ontario and Hollywood, it still feels unfulfilling and you're not satisfied, and you feel like there's something more to life than just getting up at 3 in the morning and driving to, from Beaumont by Redlands, Riverside County to LA or wherever, and working, 8, 9, 10, 12 hours and driving all the way back, basically your entire life, almost until you die. Some guys, they never even collect their retirement, they end up dying. So I just always knew there was more to life than that, and always wanted to do something. I always knew I was put on this earth to do something good and to do something more. And like, not to talk bad about anyone that does that, because we all have to do what we have to survive, and that's what we know right now in the Matrix, and that's how they want us, on a hamster wheel. And all you do is pay taxes, and they just take half of everything. So yeah, we go out and we do what we have to. But I just always knew, but some guys seem content to do that though. I remember I think at that time I was a 6th period or 7th period apprentice, and my dad was the superintendent of that job, and this kid, he was a 6th or 7th apprentice too, period apprentice, but his dad was also a boss. But I remember we were getting bussed into this job. It was a huge Kaiser job in Hollywood, and I remember we started talking, and somehow we got on the topic of what we're gonna do, and I said, I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I don't want to do this my whole life. There's something more, I don't want to just work my ass off my entire life and then what, die, and then when you're all beat up and old. And it's funny, I think he thought I was odd and I thought he was a bit odd, but the way he thinks is a lot more normal to what you'd see, because he was all fired up, this is who I am, and I'm doing this forever, and this is, yeah, this is what I want to do, and I'm just gonna keep on going. And I to me, I just could never ever understand that, and that just wasn't me being content doing something. And like I said, to a lot of people, that's doing something big, right? You're literally out not just building America, but you're doing massive commercial projects, building massive colleges and massive hospitals for people. So you think that would be fulfilling, right? And that is a very important job, but very important career path. But I think with Earth Angels, it's just a lot tougher. Like, you were put here to do something massive and to make a huge difference, but you don't know exactly what it is. And that's why it's really tough to find a career path that you're satisfied with, to find, like, what was I know I was put on this earth to do something. I can feel it, I just don't know what it is. Before the awakening, it's very hard. You feel lost, and not sure what you want to do. And it's, yeah, it could be really tough. And especially with that career, I remember, my dad's pale white, and he would come home literally black and just beat tired. He smelled so bad from working so hard all day long. And I remember, because with Earth Angels, they're always thinking in deep thought, and I just like sit there and look at them, like passed out on the couch, like, this is crazy. This is, and he'd always, be a bit angry, and from the type of work he does, You know, it can be a bit satisfying just to realize, like, wow, this is what we can do. There's not many people that can even do this. But he was always angry because a lot of people, he was like, I'm so much smarter. At that time, he was a journeyman. He hadn't climbed through the ranks further, but he said, I'm so much smarter than all these people. I can't believe they make the same money I do. And that was before he kept climbing. But I would literally sit there and just think, like, there has to be more to life than this. This is what he has to do just to put a roof over our heads and put some food on the table. And yeah, so you end up kind of floating through life. And I ended up getting in that too. And especially when I first got in when I was 18, I really didn't want to do it. But you have to do it. If you're there, you have to do a good job and make a name for yourself, you know? And especially my older brother was he was everyone has their natural talents. That is his. He's very mechanically inclined, and he's really good at construction. That's what he's good at. And he had about double the hours and experience I had when we first started. So and I didn't have any, and so I was constantly really having to compete with him. But I did pretty well. I mean, like I said, when I first got there, I really didn't want to do it, but I started realizing, even though this is the last thing I want to do, I started realizing I'm pretty good at this. Like, I started excelling and doing really well, even though I really hated it. Once you journey out, and then I became a foreman. My older brother was a foreman. It's a little bit more fulfilling, but still, you know, it's not. And yeah, I did pretty well. So I think, you know, like I said, my older brother, it comes completely natural to him, and he had over double the experience and hours I had. So, but you know, I was able to, you know, compete with him a bit, and we ended up both being foremen. And you know, he started doing layout. But it's just a little backstory. But yeah, never fulfilled. You know, never fulfilled. You're always trying to find what you were supposed to do, and that's why the spiritual awakening is so important. It's huge for earth angels, especially when you kept hearing, you know, there's going to be a group of people, beings put on this earth, and they're going to help everyone wake people up and vibrate on a higher frequency, and to help everyone get to the fifth dimension, and just to realize that that's all true, and that's what I was put here to do. That's why I've always felt that strong calling. And like I said, it's a massive calling, and I've said this in a couple of my other videos, to where it can it literally feels like the world's on your shoulders. And when you see evil things, like, you need to be out there handling business, taking care of everything, to the point where it can end up causing health problems because it's such a strong calling. And I'm sure this is with all angels, all earth angels. Yeah, before the awakening, it's very tough working normal careers, trying to find out, you know, what you want to do, what you were put on this earth to do. And but I'm very grateful for the awakening, for the spiritual awakening. I've been waking people up my whole life. I've been, well, I call it politically awake, since I was very young, like maybe 20 years old. So it just, every single aspect of my life. And that's the way it is when you go through the spiritual awakening. You'll find out that it's not just all these 100 synchronicities that all line up. It's also a bunch of other coincidences, and just every aspect of your life has just rolled into this one thing, this one title. And so I'm very, very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for the awakening. Just knowing that my whole life had a purpose, and that whole time I wasn't crazy thinking I was really put on this earth to do something huge. You know, all that daydreaming in school and just everything. So I'm very grateful for the spiritual awakening, and I know other earth angels will be too. So you'll realize you were put on this earth to do something big. So I'm gonna wrap this video up here, guys.